Hi everyone, welcome to the first day of domain and range. So we are going to first start off with just doing the domain. So look at the graph below. Which value of x does it begin? When we read, we always read from left to right. So that's true here too. So the left side here, I'm going to use this tool. The left side of my graph starts right there at that dot. All right, we want to look always at our x-axis. What value of x is that? That right there is at -2 because that's 0. So it starts, the left side's at -2, and then my right side ends at this line. I'll use green to show that. Okay, what's that x value? Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the rightmost side is 5. How could we write an interval with this? Well, the smallest x value it could be is -2. The largest it could be is 5. Since both of these are closed circles, we would put a bracket for both. All right, so domain applies to the x values. We would say left and right. Okay, so you're always starting on the left side and seeing where that starts. Let me add in a green line here real quick. That's what I like to do. I like to draw two lines to see, okay, what street or what kind of tunnel or pathway is my graph contained in? All right, let's do some practice ones then. Okay, so the left side of my graph, the farthest to the left is that first line. The farthest to the right is the second line. So the left side here, that x value is at -2. The farthest to the right is at +2. This is a closed circle, bracket. Closed circle, bracket. Okay, so easy enough. What if we throw some other things in here? All right, number 2, this arrow is going forever and ever and ever and ever. All right, so if I try to draw a line for the left side, it's never going to stop. So think back to our number line graphs when I said, hey, it goes forever to the left with an arrow. What did we say that was? Yeah, good. -infinity. All right, the right side stops right here at this dot. That x value is +2. All right, let's practice with our symbols. -infinity and infinity always has a parenthesis. And when there's an open circle, that's also a parenthesis. All right, let's try number 3 here. I like to draw my arrows a little bit farther. Okay, so the left side of my graph is right there. The right side keeps going forever. So if you're thinking, hey, in terms of my graph, it's going forever to the right, that should be +infinity. Okay, the left side, the farthest it is what? -3. All right, so there's a lot of values on this graph that are at -3. Since it's a solid line, it's not an open circle. The solid line means that they exist. We use a bracket. When I go all the way to the right, my infinity also has a parenthesis. So basically, you're only using parentheses if there's an infinity or an open circle. All right, last one here for domain. I'm going to extend my arrows to remind myself that they keep going forever. All right, so if I thought of this as my line graph, it goes this arrow. I know it seems like it's going down, but it's also going down and to the left. This is going down and to the right. So just in terms of left and right here, this arrow will keep going forever and ever and ever and ever. This one will keep going to the right forever and forever. It's slowly going there, but it is. It's not just going straight vertically down like this line. That's very different. Okay, so it's going to go forever to the left eventually. Okay, so that would be negative infinity. Oops. It's right here. On the left side, and on the right, it's also going to go eventually forever to the right. Positive infinity. All right, so this is like saying in terms of our x values, all of them will be covered eventually. So negative infinity to positive infinity. They're all real numbers. Okay, so that was my domain. So just to recap, domain was from left to right, and we were looking at our x-axis. All right, let's try the range. If you're thinking, what's the range? We just did left to right. Range is from bottom to top and the y values. So let's check in with that. So which y value does it start? Or what's the bottom of the graph? There's the bottom of the graph. Oh, come on. Drag up a bit. There you go. Right there. Okay. And the top is up here. All right. So let me draw horizontal lines this time. The bottom's there. The top is there. Okay. So the lowest value, the smallest it can be, is -2. The tallest or the top of the graph is at what? 1, 2, 3, 4. How do we write this as an interval notation? I do my smallest, then my biggest, just like we did for domain. Since they're both closed circles, I will put brackets. So the range applies to the y values on the y-axis. And we think, okay, that's bottom and top. All right, let's go ahead and try some practice. All right, so the bottom of this one would be -1. It's a closed circle, so that'll be the bracket. The top is 1, 2, 3. Top is 4. All right, then the next one, the bottom values here. And then my arrow is going to keep going up and left forever. Since we're talking about range, we only care if it's going up or down. It's going up forever, so that eventually will be at positive infinity. All right, so my bottom value, the lowest it could be, is -2. That's an open circle, so I'm going to put a parenthesis. It's going to go forever up eventually, kind of slowly, but it will. And parentheses always have, infinities always have parentheses. All right, last two here. Let me draw my lines. The bottom of my graph is here. The top is here. All right. The lowest my graph is going is what? -3. That's a closed circle. All right, and the top of it, it stops right here. The arrow does not apply to bottom to top. If you notice, the arrow is going straight to the right. So that was only if we care about the x values. Right now, I just say, hey, they all stop at 4. So I write 4, and I'm going to do a bracket because this is a solid line. Remember, we only use a parenthesis for infinities or open circles. All right, then the last one for the range. I extended my arrows. Okay, the bottom of my graph, it keeps going down forever. So that's going to be -infinity. But it goes all the way up and stops at this value. That on the y-axis is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since it's a, solid line here, we do a bracket. I don't see any open circles, so we don't put a parenthesis for the 5. Infinities always have parentheses, though. All right, there we have it. There's our first intro for domain and range.